about 15 minutes early, guys, and ladies. So let's just chill for a moment. I'm just getting all my stuff together. I'm seeing your comments. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone, to Wednesday night. We're going to get into some deep, hardcore stuff tonight. So you got about 15 minutes to seriously go get yourself a beverage. Something a little bit on the stiff side, because tonight is big, man. I'm a little bit nervous. You know, I'm not the kind of person that really honestly gets nervous too much. But, you know, I'm feeling a little bit funky up in here. And once you've seen the boundary between life and death up close, you don't tend to get nervous that much. But this stuff is kind of a little bit crazy. Hey, PDX GearCon, no worries, brother. I've been archiving all these streams. Double audio. Is that bad? Oh, hey, how's that? Oh yeah, no double audio now, just that lovely little snowball. So I've been working on a brand new setup that actually doesn't even use the stupid snowball. I'm seeing the snowball now as not that cool. So I'm going to set up some better stuff, but you should not be hearing double audio anymore. So to that, I'm going to have to say, yeah, getting a little wild tonight. We're going to be delving into something that I know every single one of you is dreaming and imagining. I know I dream it and imagine it, so when I know that something is happening for me, I'm usually pretty confident that it's happening for a bunch of y'all 3-thumb having, 1-sleeve t-shirt wearing, freak show, Ganesh fruit giving, lumpy-headed mofos. All right, so it's all good, babies. It's all good. Dogs are a little bit antsy. They're starting to settle down now. This is the part that everyone fast forwards through when these videos are archived, and they think that I am a huge waste of time. And they're right. They're right. I am a big waste of time. Each one of us holds the keys to the creative kingdom. What use do you have for a mere custodian like myself? Joe Mastracchio. Welcome. Oh my gosh, that's such great news, Joe. Hell yeah. You know, it's not always easy to just be totally freaking honest about what has inspired you and what you've been copying for years on end. Sometimes you think to yourself, man, am I a hack? And yes, you are. You're a total hack. Unless you're one of these genius people that I've heard about I've never actually met any of them. You have to struggle through being creative one hack at a time. Boom, Cyrus Draken up in the spot. My man JS bringing that heat. Jonathan Perez, thank you for tuning in. Michael Giese, Rancor Prime, Ehrlich, Arental, and Arc B. Yo, Casey's Law, what it do? Armir Cat 2, Griffin Malcolm. You motherfuckers showing up. We got a couple more minutes. We're gonna, everybody finish your beer and get a freshie. I got mine right here. Tonight I am drinking the best beer in the land. The new Leota May by Bale-Breaker. Probably their best beer. They are the only brewery in the United States who grows their own hops. And they have outdone themselves with Leota May. Absolutely amazing. Ehrlich, what up? Brian Molina, Mr. Brian Molina. What's up, dude? Park Shields, of course, up in the place to be. My peoples, Dr. H. All right, so Whew, I got on a little early tonight because I sat down and I was like, oh my God, I got to do this. But I'm a little early because I was freaking out. Stone cold freaking. The topic tonight, I have no idea how I'm going to broach this topic. I'm no roach. I got my grandma a brand new brooch. So I just did what has to be done that I'm going to cover in this video. So I think I can show it. Basically, some of the struggles and processes that occur while I create my monthly content for Patreon. Yo, Renegade16, what up, dude? Been a minute. And yes, everything that I've been doing lately is going to be archived unless I get wasted. And then it's live only. Even the DJ sets, all the copyright holders of all the songs that I did are totally good with everything I did, so we're all good to go. Hey, yo, Michael Odom. Yeah, man. Have an adult beverage, why not? Andrew J. A YouTuber arrives exactly when he means to. Well, not in this case. I'm early. I'm freaking... What am I doing? So yeah, it's going to be a good night. We're going to talk about some heavy stuff. Everybody who's coming into this stream on the archive is going to be coming in, with a really long intro. And that's 69 viewers. So, I mean, at that point, we got to get started, all right? Here I come. I'm going to fade out of the internet. I'm going to appear 1 foot wall. What up, JD? Yo, Hunter. What you know? All right, here I come. Let me see if I can... Oh, yeah. This OBS scene is finally fixed, yeah. There's only one way to know if the stuff works or not. It's to do it. It honestly is sort of representative of my entire worldview, my creative view, which is that, now we got audio. Everything's going to be fine. There's a bunch of buttons that you have to push. Okay, tonight. You can actually fix things several times until you have to actually fix them. Everyone in software development out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. And also people working on old Fords. Similar lifestyle. Okay, tonight. Greetings, programs. My peoples, my lumpy-headed weirdos, we are back once again. It's Wednesday night. What the fuck? Why am I on YouTube on Wednesday? I know why. Because it's fucking awesome. And we're going to do some cool shit. All right. Time waits for no man or woman. And so we're going to talk about one of the most elusive topics that I can even imagine. This topic is so unspoken. I actually don't even know of channels on YouTube that are doing it in a disappointing way. That's how unspoken it is. Greetings, programs. Welcome back to Runehammer, the home of Drunkens and Dragons, where all y'all motherfuckers know what's up. Here's the deal. We're going to talk about opening the secret cabinet of Dr. Caligari. We're going to talk about improving your writing game so you can publish without bad writing. Now, I want to preface this with a bit of a cool down. Okay, we're going to get a bit of a cool down. All right, it's not a cold down, it's a cool. And what I mean by that is that in the modern world, critiquing someone's writing capability is almost freaking forbidden. It's like, it's considered very, very harsh. It's considered very personal. And because of the unique and bizarre lifestyle that I have been chosen by Odin to live, I find myself in this awkward situation quite often. A lot of people, especially in the 90s, and maybe times are different now, but they did not pay attention how to write well in school. They thought it was boring or something. And then later they've moved on to publishing and they're writing poorly. Now, if you critique someone by saying that your writing is very difficult to read and baffling, and I don't know why you're beating around the bush, and this is like walls of text, please for the love of whatever God you believe in, use a line break. They think it's some kind of personal affront, and it really isn't. Whereas if I tell you, hey, you tried to draw a square and it looks a little wobbly, nobody takes that personally. These skills are not different. Writing is not a reflection of your intelligence or your personal worth. It is a skill just like drawing, just like fixing cars, just like welding copper tubes. It is a skill that requires practice, and if you do it poorly, it's good for people to point out to you, especially people you respect, that you're doing it badly. It's okay. It's okay to do a thing badly. Let's take Daniel-san for an example. This motherfucker didn't know nothing about karate, yo. He had to do a bunch of stupid household chores before he even got to think about karate. So you can't just walk out of the woodwork and think you're going to write in a skillful and clever way when you haven't even sanded the floor yet. Okay, now you guys can tell I'm very passionate about this because I really see a crisis in the ability of professionals in their ability to write clearly and in a friendly voice. It's a crisis. And I think it's because on our education level, which for all of us is like staggered over time, right? Everybody learns at different times and then they become adults and become sort of participants in the marketplace at different times. And I think for my generation, the writing skill was terribly neglected. And a lot of people who are now, sort of adults and are part of the marketplace are writing badly. And the critique that you're writing badly is somehow like a personal affront. And I want to just start this stream tonight by saying right out in the open, it is not. If your writing is not awesome, it's totally okay. You're Daniel-san. You need to punch the air for a while. You need to sand the floor. You need to wax the car. For long enough that your voice, and this is what we're going to talk about, the voice is a big thing I talk about in writing. It starts to emerge. And to keep the parallel with karate, the ancient Japanese art of self-defense, karate is not here. It is not here. It is here. It is in the heart. And the heart is a muscle that trains very, very slowly and is not good at taking critique. That's why Mr. Miyagi had to be such an asshole to Daniel-san. And in the same spirit of that, I would like you to adopt this viewpoint of being the learner. And it's a viewpoint that I adopt every single day when I'm trying to write because I'm terrible at it. But I have done it for so many years. I do have I think a pretty good sense of the moments that I am decent at it. And why am I decent in those moments? And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Okay? So remember too, this is about the RPG Underground. We're doing a re-intro. The RPG Underground is all of you guys which are dreaming of and participating in the community-created RPG, which, let's face it, is the dopest RPG of them all. There are no prophets warping people's minds. There are no schedules making them release half-baked garbage. There are no page quotas making them just fill stuff with fluff. None of the weird corporate delusions, honestly, almost psychoses, are affecting the hobbyist writer. But at the same time, you want to do really quality writing that people can understand quickly and that will pull them in. This is a large grocery list with a very small basket. Okay, this is not easy, you guys. So this is why I was kind of nervous coming into tonight's stream. Like, this is a huge topic. Now, in recent times, I would have to say that the largest publishers that we've always been familiar with over the years are failing terribly on the quality of their writing. I'm just going to have to go ahead and call them out that way. And it isn't the quality of any given blob. It is that they have lost the sense of cutting it down. They are now filling books because filled books sell. Books, I think a lot of times nowadays are purchased because they look cool and feel like they might be cool, not because they survive the test of time. And there's a big difference. And a lot of that does not come down to flashy art. Flashy art makes you buy a book. Good writing makes you read it more than once. Ooh, I like that. I like the sound of that. Now, there's a lot of thought out there on writing well. And I'm not going to talk about how to write. I'm terrible at it, for starters. And also, it becomes a litany of repetition. The instruction on how to write always comes back to this crap about linear storytelling. And I just am weary of it. We live in the 21st century. It's time to think as RPG writers. And I want to hit you guys with some shit, all right? Fuck. That was a colossal ass intro. Boom! Here I am. By the way, finally got spectacles figured out today. I should have them in a couple days. I hate living without spectacles. All right. What are we looking at? Get ready for the infinite reflection. Okay. Whew. That was close. Let's cover these damn topics. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ingrid Bernal, and I'm going to talk about refining your writing technique for publishing your RPG material. Even if publishing is just throwing up it on the forums or whatever, but in a way that engages other people. Oh my God, this one is so harsh. Write, don't rewrite. Where's my pen? Where's my pen? Why doesn't it work? There we go. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Get me on the right layer so I can do things. Oh, right layer. See what I did there? Duh! Give me a red line. Give me a red. There it is. Duh! What does this point mean? Write, don't rewrite. A lot of people do this. I'm writing. Okay, you know what? There's a bunch of problems with this writing, so let me just take this and I'll put it down here. Okay, can I get this red right here? Yeah, and then I'll be like, this is crummy. Okay, let me put this over here. Oh man, why did I finally think I realized the part that I really wanted to say. It was here. Maybe I should have put that first. Shut up! Stop it! What are you doing? No! Do not be attached to anything you write. It doesn't matter. It's all just water flowing in the river. If you write a paragraph and then copy and paste it down and then go, okay, let's fix all the problems, you are not going to improve. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It is feverishly fiending over one brief moment of inspiration you had. Let it go. Let it go. See what you were trying to write, delete everything you wrote, and try again. This is what we call a destructive method of working. Now, when I worked in the video game industry, I was endlessly hated for this behavior, which is that if you don't do something right, you delete it all, and you go again. You do not keep this messed up, gigantic archive of stunted ideas and attempts. You delete it all. You are destructive. You work on a flat layer. You delete your layers as you work in Photoshop and you only save the one layer. If somebody wants to go back and see something from earlier, they're fucked. Write. Don't rewrite. Why? Why would I do this? This is crazy, dude. If you guys are following along right now and really trying to hear my advice, you can try writing a quick paragraph. Instantly, you'll see all kinds of problems. Almost always, you have your best moment of clarity at the end, and that should be the beginning of the paragraph. So you want to move that sentence. But then the assumed concepts of the next sentence they don't add up quite right. And so then you need to change the word this to and so on and so forth. Conceptual, what are they called? Conceptual continuators? Something like that. It's a reference to how the word so is overused in modern language. But anyway, you are already in a mess. You are in a mess. You have already drawn your character and cut the head off with a lasso and moved it over to another character. You're crazy. It's not going to work. It's going to be stilted. It's going to be chunky. The rhythm is going to be messed up. Your emotional honesty is out the window, by the way, at this point. You are making an android, not a poem. Let it all go. You write a paragraph. It isn't ideal. You delete the paragraph. Hit save. It's gone. But in writing it, you learned how to write it. Now try writing it again. Ooh, that's interesting. I definitely learned how to put the end at the beginning on that one. But this whole transition is weird. I could probably just delete a few words here and change it to whatever. No! Delete the entire paragraph. Write it again. Good writing, I'm sorry to everyone out there who doesn't do this, but good writing is on its 15th to 20th original writing, not rewriting. Rewriting is, I kind of have some writing, I kind of chopped it, I'm doing it again. You're not doing it again. Every time is the first time. You're using Zen mind, beginner's mind. You write, and you write over and over and over. The behavior that so many people think of as writing is not the behavior of a writer. It is the behavior of this person. Editor. Editors write in the gaps of the writer. Editors rearrange. Editors delete and move. Editors fill in. You don't do that. You're a writer. Don't be an editor. Trust me. No one is a good editor. Editors are frustrated writers who are very left-brained, who have a mind for precision. And it's okay. That is not a reductive phrase or a comment in any way. Editors are a crucial part of the process, but they prefer to micro-critique rather than generate. We're talking about the RPG Underground. We're talking about generating. You write over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Wait. And over. The circle begins to become a circle. The behavior of your hand in drawing circles is no different than the behavior of your mind as you attempt to write. It is a muscle, it is a skill, and is built through repetition, not through repairing. Here's the mindset that so many people write in. Oh man, look at that. That circle has a bunch of weird lumps and stuff. Okay, well, let's go here. And then I have these computer tools, and they let me sort of fix this circle here. Look at that. Okay, yeah. Okay, no, now there's a lump over here, but maybe oh my God, please just kill me now. Now it's a lumpy circle with no soul. No. Write, don't rewrite. So every time something goes wrong, just start over. Even on a large scale. I know that's hard to fully accept, but do it. You will see. It's amazing. Now this next one is huge. Just huge. And I've got some fun drawing to do this time. Okay, let me get on the right thing. I've been hiding this palette, which is a little bit new for me. Okay, so 2 mindsets. RPGs are consumed, even in PDF form, in pages, okay? Everybody knows that. It's like me saying that shoes go on feet. Even though that is painfully obvious, I see so many writers, so many creative people creating documents and then expecting it to become cool layouts or pages. Here's a document. Here's a page. So a document is like I'm working in Google Docs. Usually Google Docs is a good place to develop ideas because there is no formatting burden, right? You're free to just type in what you're thinking about. I've got a really, really bad piece of news for people working with this workflow. When you take something that's written in that mindset and then try to put it into a nice looking page with a header and a piece of art and a cool diagram, which every good page should have, you can't, for one thing, can't fit anything. You fit about, let's go to red, you fit about this much onto your so-called page that your Google Doc page had. And also you realize that this point, this is the most critical point of every page of an RPG document. Where the text on the page ends. Does it end on a way that drives home the concept in this diagram or drives home the story in this art? Or does it ask you to go to the next page to finish your thought? If you have to turn the page to finish a thought, it's a failed page. It's a failed page. And this is true of newspapers, of any book that tries to deliver granular ideas. Now, if it's a granular? Granular. If it's a novel, of course you're just going to go page to page. But this is not a novel. We are talking about writing for RPGs. Now, here's the brutal thing. If I don't get to write in a doc, and I have to build pages, how do I do it? Now, this comes to a question of tools. I have a tools video coming up here next week, but I'm going to preview it by saying if you're really trying to publish RPGs, just quit griping, get InDesign, and learn it. If you have to pound in 10,000 nails, you don't want to go get a $4 hammer. It will break, it will also suck, and you'll have to go buy the $20 hammer after 100 nails. If you want to be in the RPG underground, if you truly do want to compete, if you want to contribute, get the tools. They're so cheap. Get InDesign. Now let's talk about building pages. I am talking about nothing short of writing in InDesign. Do not write in Google Docs. Let go of it. Right here where your final page is going to be. Now you guys are seeing a sneak peek at the room design. Every month on my Patreon, I have a new room design that comes out. This is my new one for June called Crossroads. And now, of course, I work from a template. That template's also available to all my patrons. Just go like that and start writing. You're writing into a spatially interesting paragraph. And then you're like, oh, wait, do I need to change this? Oh, wait, do I need to change this? Should this say Mecha Goblin? Instantly, right away, as part of your creative process, you are working inside the comprehensible space of a page, not the infinite abstract space of Google Docs. Look at this. All of my room designs end with this page. What's next? Now on the left you see a blank, and that's where my maps usually go. Again, here you're seeing a sneak peek of Crossroads. But I know I want to leave this area. See my cursor? This area down here, I want to leave it blank. And I want to leave it blank enough where I can put a cool piece of art there. And so I know exactly, for example, how long this can be. I know exactly how long this can be by visual layout. Right away, I have terrible constraints on my writing style that give me a sense of brevity, of control, of refinement. It's all right here. I'm writing into the pages, not living in the abstract dream world of Google Docs. Build pages, not docs. Docs are for corporate profit analysis. We live in a far more beautiful world. Boom. This is the most brutal tip I have about improving your writing quality. And it's the thing I see people do the absolute least of. The absolute least. Let's get into some pen slop. Can we? Let's get into some pen slop, you guys. So let me bring this layer up. Let me just put this guy up here. And I want to explain to you guys what working linearly means. Now, everything you're going to write when you're creating RPG content is going to be more than one page. If it's not, I don't even know what you're doing. It's insane. And this is the hint I was coming at the end of the last stream. Wait a minute. I'm already not working linearly. I started thinking about like the table of contents type page. Actually, screw that. This is my credits page. Let's think about every PDF or book we like. I'm going to simplify just a little bit. Okay, so this is how I welcome you. I have a title page, and this is probably the title of my piece. And here's probably a subtitle, and here's a cool piece of art. Here with an angry smiley face with some stray teeth. If you guys are going to hate me for this. I know Dave Thomavore does. If you do not have this title page absolutely freaking dialed in, nailed, ready to ship, you are not allowed to do the credits page. And I'm talking about the piece of art too. You have to either make it or contact someone who can make it. You need to get it in place. You need to get your title absolutely rock solid. Your subtitle just nailing it before you even think about doing your credits page. When you go to do your credits page, it's going to need a piece of art or maybe a cool watermark in the back. You need to decide exactly who and how you're going to thank them, how you're going to do your copyright and stuff like this. And if this credits page is not absolutely dialed in, nailed, ready to ship, you do not get to go to the table of contents. Table of contents usually has a header, says frickin' TOC up here, has some stuff, has some little dots and page numbers, has some stuff, some dots, some page numbers. If the formatting and the topics that you're listing here are not absolutely rock steady, you are forbidden to make the chapter page. Chapter page is some big old piece of art, says the name of the chapter, has some cool little subtitle, maybe a hint about what the chapter's about. If you haven't figured this page out, don't you dare start to write the chapter. And the name of the chapter better damn well be up here. Working linearly is the discipline to make actual progress. And I gotta tell you guys, after 20 years of working in the video game industry, this is the number one behavior that they have not learned. They leave such a wake of mess in their trail as you're creating a video game. All these bugs, all these parts that aren't cool, all these parts that sort of are creatively baffling, all these sort of sections that barely work, they just create a huge mess and they just let it flow out behind them like a wake. And they hope it's going to be fixed someday. So many people creating RPGs are doing the same thing, and it is horrible. You have to make actual fucking progress. Can you make a title page? It's maybe 7 words and a piece of art with a nice looking border and some sort of texture to the paper. And does it feel like something you want to read? Or does it feel like there's a bunch of empty space that feels like some kind of Microsoft Word garbage? Does it feel half thought? Is the art bad? Is the title overly complex? Is it derivative of other works? If you can't do this, you cannot do any of this. And you have to accept this and have the discipline to refine and refine and refine. Do dwarves get to delve deeper when they're not done with the previous tunnel? No, because it caves in on the other dwarves. It's the same with publishing and creating. You have to finish your work one piece at a time. You have to commit. This also lets you use social media effectively. You can screen grab this bad boy because it looks dope, and you can put it up on social media and people will be excited about what you're creating. If you're sketching or being loose, or it's just like, well, this is kind of done, it's not cool. It doesn't look cool in a screen grab, and it might not ever be cool because you've already moved on to the table of contents. You've already moved on to chapter 3 before you even wrote chapter 1 because you're lacking the discipline. Now, don't think that I'm just shouting and yelling at you. This voice has so much fervor and passion because it's what I constantly yell at myself. And that's why we understand each other. Now, let's keep going. There's 2 more. Find your voice. Now, for find your voice, I've got to switch back. Get ready for the... Whoa. Okay. I hate that. I hate the infinity part. It's where doomed souls from the frozen ships of the great North Sea find their way into our world. Is in the infinity of the screen capture of of OBS. Now let me pull this over here. Okay, then here's this. Find your voice. I know that the last couple points, especially thinking linearly and working linearly, are really difficult to live up to. I know that bouncing around is fun and interesting, and that's why you wind up with no final product. Bouncing around is fun. Working linearly gets you finished work. Having fun and creating finished work are not the fucking same thing, and that's what these RPG Underground streams are all about. I actually had a great exchange with somebody tonight at the bar drinking some beer for my afternoon beer taking because I have to stay sane. Hey, my sound was echoing on the other scene. It's a disaster. It's all over. Everything I said is probably ruined. This stream isn't about how to use OBS. Maybe I can just cut all the sound out like last time and we'll talk about that rather than the subject at hand. No affinity publisher. Get InDesign. Do not get cheap tools. You will learn obsolete skills that frustrate you later if you pursue it for real with real tools. Do not get cheap tools. They are shit. They're cheap for a reason. Get the Adobe Creative Suite. It's the best bargain going. Be standard. Step up to it. I'm sorry. This is why I was nervous. This is one of the harshest streams imaginable. Finding your voice. Finding your voice is not about getting quality tools. It's not about working in a line. It's not about really anything. This is the most sublime and most difficult tip that I have for being a writer. Google Slides is legit. Mm-hmm. Finding your voice is the thing that makes all writers say I suck. It's because it takes decades. And so if you are say 5 years in on a big writing project and still feeling frustrated, if you're 10 years in and still feeling frustrated, welcome. Spend another 10 years. I just have to hit you with it. That is the simple truth. And for even the talented ones among us, of which I'm not one, it takes 20 to 30 years to develop a sense of language that is unique and, more importantly, honest. Honest. The biggest piece of feedback that I've ever had on my writing is specifically about Mud and Horn, Sword and Sparrow. And the people that read it say to me, it's almost like we were sitting together in a room and you were telling me a story, like off the top of your head. This to me is the greatest achievement I've ever accomplished in writing. And I've been writing since I was 6 years old. And I'm about to turn 46. And only recently have I been able to write things that make people happy. Now, you must drink in a linear fashion. It's absolutely crucial. How do you find the voice? Don't tell me that I just need to do it. Tell me how, right? Here's the biggest tip I have. So much and you guys, by the way, I'm not speaking out of a void. There are so many people who hit me with their writing trying to get help. And so I see so much writing by people. And I don't want anybody to think that I skim or brush over this stuff. I take the freaking time to read this stuff. And it is not easy. Especially if there's like a lot. Like, hey, I wrote a 20-page story. It's like, oh my God. I need to read pretty much all of this to give a meaningful set of comments, right? I do this a lot. And so I have learned more about writing through people wanting help with it than I have through doing it well myself. And finding a voice is the thing I see people doing the least. And it's just being honest. It's just speaking with your own speaking voice. So many of us are dungeon masters, and we're brilliant when we're at the table. People are looking at us. We're feeding off of human energy, and we are ourselves. We are describing the great tree, the heart of the Kenku Empire, the seat of birddom in our land, and flames are licking the trunk of this ancient place. The call of the birds summoning you to great deeds is a din. It's deafening until you arrive. So you have to scramble. You have to go now. And if you do not, and if great tree falls, then the fate of the world will fall with it. So many of you guys can deliver that on the spot with no pre-writing, improving, right? Because you're dungeon masters. That's what you do. But then the minute your fingers go to keyboard, you add words, you add conjunctions, your sentence get longer, you get too many adjectives. You forget your voice. And voice here is not a word I'm using in a metaphorical way, in any way. Your literal voice, the voice you use when you talk. Can you write that way? And it sounds somewhat easy, but it really isn't. Koala Bear, you ask a great question. There is no magnum opus, my friend. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but everything labeled a magnum opus in this world is a terrible read and is a terrible experience. Chult is a magnum opus. A magnum opus is sort of a word for someone carrying out their psychological problems on paper. It's too much, man. Show me 2 pages of brilliant writing that makes me want to get it to my table immediately and find the miniatures to match and find the players that are excited. Do that opening paragraph that shows me not only you understand me, but have something I can use and respect. Can you do that? One little lick, one little riff. So I love your question, Koala Bear, because it really cuts to the heart of the matter. There is no magnum opus. We are not Beethoven. We are not Pythagoras. We're normal people who want to be creative as a way to have fun. We are not altering the course of human thought with our 10,000 page manifesto, which, by the way, they're boring and horrible to read. Brevity is godliness in writing to me. And it also shows the quality and depth of what you're thinking, if it can be delivered in brief form. If you need to show me the history of philosophy to make a point in one paragraph after 25 pages, you didn't do any work. You just started writing. Listen to me, guys. Instead of reading it yourself and saying, oh my God, this could be 1 page instead of 25. I know that this is harsh. Use natural language. That's a good way of thinking of using your voice, but it's not enough. The Dungeon Master's voice is not natural language. Natural language is what I'm doing right now, and it would make horrible writing. Your voice is the simplest, most direct way for you to be honest. This is why journaling can sometimes be handy for writers, to improve the sense of finding a voice. Do you have the courage in the middle of your novel to step outside the storyline and speak as yourself to the reader? Kurt Vonnegut believed that this was a critical step in being an author. He believed that suspense was sort of like lying to the reader. His philosophy was, tell your reader absolutely everything you know at every moment. Because if you suggest to a reader you know something that you're withholding, you're lying to them because you don't know it. Does that speak to a dungeon master or what? That's totally dungeon master thinking. Oh, don't worry, there's a big reveal you guys don't know about yet. And you're like, I actually don't know the reveal. That's what Kurt Vonnegut said about writing fiction. I know that everything I'm hitting you guys with is sort of like intense and fired up. This is why I was a little bit nervous about tonight. I'm intense and fired up about this because I don't think a lot of people are cut out for writing. Even if they put in all the work and they really want to do it and it's important to them, it takes dedication. I think it's easier to set out on the journey of learning to draw or paint or be a game designer than it is to really have writing that feels quick and natural and robust. But I'm not here to say don't do it. I'm here to say if you want to go on a 20 to 30 to 40 year journey, here's some of the ideas that can be involved. Okay, we're going to go back into the tunnel and we're going to go down to one of the final ideas here. Now, if Jason said I'm doubling on this other one, so let's go. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, if we're doubling, then let's turn that one off. Is that better? Okay. Now for the final point. Boom. Boom. Now, if finding a voice is abstract, this one is the exact opposite. This is concrete as fuck. This square, why did I make it so big? That was stupid. Now I have to use a lasso tool to fill it in. Okay, this square represents my concept. Okay, let's say that my concept is skull. All right? My concept that I'm writing on is skull. I'm writing an RPG called Skull. The RPG. Okay? Never stop reinforcing is the principle that says, ask yourself for every single thing you write, is it reinforcing skull? Okay? So, I'm going to do some imaginary passages of text, and then, Look, these passage of text have dice rolls. This one is like a breakout box. It has white text with a white dice in it. Like I'm going to roll a D12. Why did I call out the D12? That was weird. Then here's another passage. These are all saying things about my new Skull RPG. But before I break this down, you're just going to have to wait. I'll be right back. Well, that was a lot of hard work. Woo! Almost done, I guess. Okay, yeah. Well, let's get ready to ship this Skull RPG. Hey, man, where you been? Where you been, hankering? Oh, I was just working on this Skull RPG. Yeah, I just was over there in the other room. I got a wizard. I got a ranger. The ranger's really cool. I got this sort of horse master guy. I'm thinking this is like a class option. Bunch of equipment. I got spears. I got battle axes. Where's the fucking skulls? Why the fuck is it Skull the RPG? Well, I don't know. Maybe there's like, they find a skull at some point. And I thought skulls are kind of cool. No. Here we have 5 cases. We have this little paragraph, this paragraph, this paragraph with a dice. Look at that guy. Then we have a breakout box, and then we got this paragraph here, which is at a weird angle. As you're writing, you must constantly, brutally revisit whatever your concept is. Because if you really do this, you will start to ask yourself, do I even have a fucking concept? Does this paragraph talk about skulls? Answer, no, it's out of the freaking game. Does this paragraph talk about skulls? Yeah, it mentions like this bad guy. He's like the super villain. He's a skull. Okay, cool. This paragraph survives. This is a dice roll. I'm doing a 1d6 dice roll. I got some options here. But this has to do with like where I came from. Orcs destroyed my village. I was sent on a holy mission to the... No! If it doesn't have anything to do with skulls, it's out. Here's a breakout box. Has like a D12 over here and then some stuff. Is this breakout box about skulls? Nope, it's cut. Then this weird little one, it said like, if you find a skull in the world, it can be used to gain XP. Oh my God! Yes! Keep that smiley face, superstar, everything's great. Reinforcing means if you're going to make a theme, you're going to pick a theme, then every single thing you do is going to everything you do is going to reinforce that theme. I'm so pissed off at OBS for messing with my audio right now. I'm about to kill a man or woman, whoever's responsible. I don't care. Anyway, hear me, my brothers and sisters. If you're going to write published RPG material and you have a theme, you damn well better be reinforcing that theme constantly, or your theme is a lie that tricked me into coming and showing up in the first place. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say F you for that, but I am going to say be better than that. Rise up, find a way. If your RPG is called Deadboat RPG, in the first session, I damn well better be on a boat. And I damn well better be hitting some skeleton people or some shit. And my character needs to be made in a way that I have context toward fighting the dead or being one of the dead or being able to work shit on a boat like rowing or doing rigging or swabbing the deck or some crap. And if it's anything else, it's not a theme. It's a lie. It's marketing and it's bullshit. Boom. Constantly reinforce. Reinforce your theme. Now, don't take this as a negative tip. This is a positive tip. If you find one, you get a free sentence in every paragraph. It's beautiful because in every single paragraph you write, you get to mention again why this is part of your game, why it's part of the theme. You get a freebie every time, every paragraph. You get a freebie that says, this is important in the game of Skull RPG, because for every skull you gather, you'll get one more dice of battle damage. Whatever. That actually sounds kind of cool. Deadboat. Damn, I want to play that. I want to play Deadboat. ASAP. I better be dead in the first session. See, I love that thinking right there. Breaking Inferno. Thank you. I don't think that any of the points that I brought up tonight are like controversial or weird or unexpected. Like so much of my so-called knowledge, I don't think that it is rare or whoop-de-doo. It's just, for whatever odd reason, I seem very willing to just pull the curtains apart and say, hey, look at the mess in my room, guys. I cannot pretend that there is some secret skill or secret method to this stuff. Most of what I'm saying boils down to, do you have the discipline? Are you hard-ass enough and focused enough to actually freaking thunder your way through finished work and deliver it? Or are you kind of having fun and dilly-dallying around and making a bit of a mess and expecting people to read it? That isn't like, earth-shaking wisdom. I don't have wisdom. I'm not old enough to be wise. I am only old enough to have the guts to see the path. I see the path to making the rocks float, to lifting the X-Wing out of the swamp. I see it. I cannot do it yet. But I do see it. I see it, and I see it clearly. And the reason I want to get back on YouTube and sort of be back, in quotes, I was never gone, by the way, is because I want to share my passion for what Yoda has been teaching us. The fact that you don't believe it is why you fail. The fact that you doubt the simplicity of the task is why you're failing. You're caught up in fetters. You think that there's some kind of finished version before you've even done the reps. And unfortunately, when it comes to writing, the reps go on for years and or decades. And I want to invite you guys, especially those few among you who really want to do this, to join me doing the reps. Just fly out to Dagobah. I'm out there trying to do flips and falling on my ass every single day. Why do you think Anakin is the biggest asshole Jedi? Because he didn't do the reps, man. He had too much innate power. He was a dick from the beginning. Even in the pod races, he was insufferable. Whereas Luke had a humble approach to stuff. And even he didn't even finish. He was too arrogant to finish. We got to learn from Yoda, man. When 900 years old, look as good you will not. That's the only time Yoda threw down Dap. Because Yoda keeps it chill. He just wants to make some stew. For the Jedi, it's time to eat as well. It's that simple. Do the reps. Yeah. So there's a lot going on the Runehammer forums, on the Runehammer Discord channel, and screw that. That is a tiny, infinitesimal corner of the internet. There is a ton going on everywhere. The Dungeon World community is beautiful and very, very prolific. Reddit's great if you like trolling and to receive hatred when you attempt your writing. There's a ton of great RPG communities. So I don't want to make it sound like you need to go participate in the Runehammer community. That is not what I'm here to say. But I do want you to hear the painful truth of learning to be a boxer, which is very similar to being a writer. You've got to get leathery and tough and focus and do those reps over and over every day. One common technique is to write 1,000 words a day. That's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Refining your writing and getting it ready to be published in a way that people really like it. Now, flashy art makes you want to buy a book because there's a FOMO factor. But good writing makes you tell a friend to get a book. Am I right? I mean, I believe that. I don't recommend books that have flashy art to friends. That's why I always say that the D&D 2nd edition Rules Cyclopedia is the best book they've made. All the art is one color. It's like blue, too. It's weird. But the substance in that book makes it last for years. And I'm so sad to say the new stuff, the 5e stuff, is the opposite. The art is so cool, and the writing just does not have any actual fucking substance. Except for the Monster Manual. The 5e Monster Manual, the first one, is a brilliant freaking book. I really think they put their heart and soul into that. Brilliant. One of the all-time best RPG books. The rest, I just am completely losing interest in it. And I think we live in a time where even critiquing is considered mean or unwelcome. I'm considered radioactive on YouTube. I'm considered like a naysayer or something. I want the best shit, and if it's not the best, I'm going to say it. I think Symbaroum was the best shit. I think Free League has some pretty good stuff, but I think people are kind of like culting them right now. Small parts of Forbidden Lands were cool, but it doesn't mean we need to bow down and worship Free League now. Tales from the Loop was just a bunch of amazing art. That's all it was. I mean, okay, now I'm doing it again. I'm overly excited, getting critical. But we haven't even talked about layout yet. Be sure to understand that. We have not talked about layout. That is another entire discipline. Probably the most botched discipline of them all. Even more so than writing. There's a lot of great writers out there who then they look at their writing and it's been put into this layout that is just a complete disaster. Extension of concepts across pages, images that do not relate to what you're reading at that moment, and different stuff like this. Or bad characterization because of layout, because you accidentally associate things with each other. Anyway, it's another topic. You guys, I'm really happy to be back on YouTube. I know that there was a little outage there, and I'm happy to answer some of the questions that have been coming up because there's been literally thousands of them in the past 2 weeks. It's been a great 2 or 3 weeks. Tons of new patrons have showed up on Patreon. Thank you so much. Throw in $1 a month. You get 2 years of podcasts that I've made for $1. So even if you just bail after a month, which is totally fine, you can download all those podcasts and enjoy them, and you're welcome to do so. I really enjoy making that podcast. It's been really fun. I love doing audio design and stuff, so that's been a real hoot. I'm working on a ghost story right now for the podcast. I was away from YouTube because the trend that I've seen in the RPG hobby has honestly sort of thrown me by the side. The RPG hobby has really been, I think, confused with the board game hobby, which is this Kickstarter spend fest. And the fun of spending at will has never been part of the true RPG hobby. It has never been about just buying your way into the hobby. It's always been about being a doer and a creator. And I think that some powers that be out there would like you to think that the D&D or RPG hobby is about buying your way into it, and it's bullshit. You can make your own RPG with free materials, and this is because Hasbro has acquired Dungeons and Dragons. And I think this is why I'm going to have to go back on something I said about 4 years ago, which is that I use the term D&D to imply all RPG gameplay, and I can no longer do that and feel comfortable. The RPG lifestyle is not Dungeons and Dragons. They've lost me. And maybe 6th edition will be different, but they have handled popularity very, very poorly. And there it is. So I will no longer call it how to play D&D like a badass. It's how to play RPGs like a badass. And that's something we're going to do. That's part of why I changed my channel name. That's part of why all this stuff is evolving. And I won't turn away from this evolution. I also want to take some time now that we're at the end of the stream to thank you guys so freaking much. I know I thank everybody a ton, but you guys, as like the next summer of my life is happening, I know you guys are moving into summer. It's a super exciting part of the year. At least for me, I love to get out and go backpacking. I love to think about stories and about how people used to walk across these big spaces in the world and fall in love and stand up for what's right and all this stuff. And to me, this fuels all these stories that we love so much. And every summer, I think I get really thankful, especially to all you guys and to my two gods, which are Odin and Thor, are the ones that I pray to. When I'm having the worst time or when I'm having the best time, I'm asking them for help or giving them gratitude. But in summer, it really becomes in stark relief. I really become thankful for this life. I love to live it. And the reason that I want to talk about the RPG Underground is because I want to invite you guys to give it a go and also be realistic about the hard work it takes. Great exchange I had with my bartender tonight is he said, you know, he learned a little bit more about who I am because I was drawing at the bar like I always do. He learned a little bit, you know, looked it up on his phone. And he's like, wow. And he's like, you're really living the dream. And I told him, well, I bust my ass probably just like you do. I mean, you don't really get much of anything out of anything in life without busting your ass. I mean, without working fucking hard, except for these sort of genius characters I keep hearing about, but I'm not sure they're real anymore. And so I get really thankful that all this ass busting and all this thinking and even sometimes using your sleep time, using your dreams to work on ideas and stuff, and that it could matter to people. And it's nice to survive on it, but it's far nicer and feels more rich to think that there's happiness out there in the world that I might be a small part of. That is such a great freaking feeling. And I want to end the stream tonight with a funny anecdote that happened to me today. And I want to spread this happiness to you guys so that you can go create love in the world. So I'm hanging out this morning. I'm actually spray painting. Well, you know, it's like a sprayer for latex paint. You know, I'm spraying my entire basement. I'm doing the whole thing, all cleaning it all up, getting all the spiders out and spraying it. It's all white and feels all clean and awesome. And it's going to be ready for human habitation, right? And I'm down there working hard, I'm sweating. I got all this sweat in my respirator and I'm just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this done. I'm ruining my Converse. Fuck it. I'm working. Then I hear the dogs going crazy. When the dogs go crazy, that means someone is at the door who's not going to leave. I have a huge no soliciting sign on my door too, but somebody has come, so it's probably important. Take off the respirator, do the whole thing. The dogs are all going crazy. They don't like whoever's at the door. So instead of opening the front door, I just go around the back and come around into the front yard, right? And I'm just like, hello. And it's a nicely dressed woman. And she walks over to me and she's like, hi. She goes, hey, I just wanted you to invite you to this convention that we're having. And she hands me a flyer, which is like for, you know, a local religious group that wants to have a convention or whatever. She apparently didn't see the gigantic no soliciting sign, but whatever. It's all good. It's a human being, so I'm good to go. I'm like, oh, thank you. Okay. And she goes, yeah, the convention's about love. And I was like, oh, great topic. And she goes, yeah, don't you think it's really absent in the world right now? And I was like, absolutely not. I see love everywhere, but your optimism definitely could use some work. And then I think she looked me over and saw I was like half covered in paint. I got tattoos all over the place. I got like a crazy looking prosthetic leg. And she was sort of not really interested in me anymore. And so I was just like, so are we done now? And I think that statement was so huge for her. I think she was her eyes left mine and she's just cruising down my driveway like it was over. But the moral of this story is not that it was funny or anything. It's that love is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Quit watching fucking TV. Quit listening to or looking at on the internet anything that is saying that the world is focused on anything but love. Because if you look at your own little town where you live, look at individual people and what they're doing each day. Yes, some of them are complete idiots who are filled with hate and are messing things up. They are the vast minority. They really, really are. It's mostly just good folks trying to work hard and be cool to each other and sometimes succeeding and sometimes failing. Our world is 99% love and 1% total assholes. So I don't want to hear about love being absent, especially from people who supposedly are like the representatives of the Christian God, who I as far as I understand that Christian God, he's kind of pro-love, right? This world is built on love. It's all we're doing. And only people who are looking to gain something or control you in some way have any other opinion. Love is everywhere. It is everywhere right now. And if you look around you, you will see it. And every once in a while, when you see something that isn't love, that's when you get a little bit of a story. You're like, damn, I saw this dude. He was fucking going off. He was being a real asshole. That makes a story, right? Because it's the exception. It's the exception. The most common thing all of us experience in our life is love. It's in a small town, it's in a big city, it's person to person, it's your manners towards service people, it's their manners toward you when you're doing your job. It's your manners when you're walking down the street, when you're driving your car, when you're sitting next to somebody at the pub. Everyone who is honest about this world knows this world is built on love, and it is everywhere, and it is not documented on the news or on TV or on the internet. But I am here to say, if a numb mofo walks up to me and says, don't you think love is absent from this world? I'm gonna straight awkward hug that mofo. You don't want none of this prosthetics hug, man. You get hurt. You get hurt. You get love hurt. All right, motherfuckers. I'm getting too crazy. I'm going to get out of here. I just really wanted to holler about this writing stuff. I know it's tough advice. I know it sounds all brick-headed and mean. But if you go back and you watch this while you're writing, maybe you look for some inspirational nuggets in all my nonsense. Maybe there's a couple things that will resonate you. Maybe try a writing challenge. Maybe try to get into a small, refined piece of writing. You guys can email me anytime at hankerin.fernail@gmail.com. Email me anything that you're doing, curious about, wondering about, any questions you might have. Get on my Patreon. Be a part of the Discord thing. Get on Facebook. Fuck it. It's a beautiful time to be creative. The world is so open right now intellectually, and any other portrayal about the effect of the internet on the human race is bullshit. It is bringing us together. It's making us smarter. It's making us more creative. And it's giving small-time people more opportunity to make a living on their work than ever before. Every other portrayal is bullshit. One love, one planet. Keep it real. Don't steal. You always get a deal. Strength, honor, and fucking beer. All right? Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's been great talking about writing tips tonight. Next time, we're going to tackle the freaking gnarliest one of them all. And then we're going to move on. We're going to talk about layout next time. So get your copy of InDesign. Use it for 10 seconds and realize how awful and nightmarish it really is. And then we're going to round the wagons next time. We're going to talk about doing layouts that can help get your message in your RPG across to more people, okay? Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are the bomb. I'm going to go grab another beer. And I think there might even be sun. There might be sunshine out, which is super weird. So I might go, I don't know, what do? Do you just stand in it? Okay, everybody. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you on the internet. Spread the word. You always get heard, okay? Yow! Back into the Rune Hammer logo. Back into the Rune Hammer logo. Back into the Rune Hammer logo. Into the Rune Hammer logo. Thanks, everybody. Oh my gosh, I feel such relief after getting all that garbage off my chest. That was heavy. That was a heavy business. Maybe we got some double audio. I don't know. Shit. You guys are cool. Okay, I'm going to push the buttons that make this stop. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time, all right?